ABC 10 News at 6 starts now.
As local school districts prepare to start the new year online, how one district in the East County is keeping its doors open.
And the joint effort among some North County families to help their children avoid a learning slump from online instruction.
Plus, concerns of spotty enforcement and even discrimination amid crossing restrictions at the border.
ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
That breaking news, a shooting involving police in the South Bay. This is a live look from the 10 News breaking news tracker, and all we are being told so far is that police opened fire on a suspect outside a home on Rutgers Avenue near Otay Lakes Road. We know there was a pursuit and a crash nearby. It is not confirmed whether either of those incidents are related to the shooting, but we will bring you a live report once we have more details. Parents continued to drop their children off at a school in the Cajon Valley School District today, even after the governor ordered all schools in the county to conduct all learning virtually.
Our ABC 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco shows us how district leaders are pointing to the very same state guidelines to keep their doors open.
Drop off at Chase Avenue Elementary in El Cajon. Danica Mitchell tears up talking about the opportunity this provides for her son.
Well, I'm emotional because I'm an essential worker, so both my husband and I work, and we need to work to support our family.
Last Monday, the Cajon Valley Union School District reopened all of its elementary and middle schools for a summer enrichment program.
Today, we're going to be learning more about the moon.
Teachers and students wear masks, desks are spaced apart, and strict health and hygiene measures are followed. Then Friday, the California governor announced counties, including San Diego, must be off the state's monitoring list for 14 days before kids can return to class. Cajon Valley's assistant superintendent says their setup still falls within the new guidelines.
Nothing had changed in terms of the model for childcare. So yes, there was information about schools and what would be possible for schools, but not regarding childcare.
The district has been offering free childcare to essential workers since March, when schools closed due to the pandemic. Even if San Diego County is still banned from having students return to school for in-person instruction, Cajon Valley says its doors will stay open.
Regardless of what direction we have to follow in the fall and what we can provide for students, we will continue to provide childcare. And these options seem to be becoming more and more limited in the county.
An option parents like Danica feel is a safe one.
I feel that they are doing an excellent job, and I'm happy.
She hopes her son can start first grade in school, not from home, in the fall. Rachel Bianco, ABC 10 News.
The assistant superintendent says all of the students in the summer enrichment program were part of the child care program. No more than 12 students are allowed in each class. She says the district is following all state and county health orders.
Today, both Governor Gavin Newsom and San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer took action to help businesses affected by the latest shutdowns. Mayor Faulconer signed an executive order letting gyms, churches, salons, and barber shops expand outside into private parking lots. One business owner in Miramar said without the move, he may not have lasted more than a couple of months.
I'm glad for the executive order, but it would not have been pretty. Like all hardworking Americans, and we probably would have faded into the darkness too.
And coming up tonight on ABC 10 News at 7 o'clock, why not all business owners are celebrating the move.
About an hour after Mayor Faulconer signed his order, the governor took a similar action for the state. Before now, there had been a lot of concern and confusion about whether barber shops and salons were even allowed by the state to move outside. This afternoon, Governor Newsom said his intent was for that to be clear last week, but there were some issues that needed a few days to be worked out.
It turns out, without getting into too many details, but issues of chemicals and shampoos and perms, it was more complicated than some had considered, particularly as it relates to local ordinances and rules and regulations that were in place. So we worked through that over the last number of days, and those new guidelines are up, and hopefully that provides some more clarity.
There are several strict conditions the governor put in place for those businesses to eventually move outside. We have put that list on 10news.com.
Well, after a relatively flat weekend, the rolling average of positive tests in San Diego County is again inching upward. Today, the average over the past 14 days sits just above 6%, and the county's goal is to keep that average below 8%. Here are the latest numbers. For San Diego County, 453 new cases were reported today, bringing our total to 24,135. No additional deaths were reported over the weekend, so the number remains at 478.
And our county leaders have a simple message for San Diegans today. It's all up to all of us to gain control of this pandemic.
But if we want to have an opportunity to safely reopen schools, if we want to get some of these businesses back open, then it's incumbent upon each and every one of us to play an active role and to be a leader. Every single San Diegan has within their power the ability to do their part to help us.
Now, the county does report there were 47 community outbreaks in July. There were 33 in June, which is when many of the reopenings happened. With the recent restrictions implemented over the last few weeks, county leaders are optimistic we will see a decrease in the number of cases. They remind everyone that taking the simple steps like wearing a mask and social distancing can help our county get off the state's watch list.
People trying to cross the border during the pandemic say the new restrictions are causing confusion, spotty enforcement, and even discrimination. Our 10 News partners at KPBS spoke with an American who lives in Rosarito and crosses regularly, usually crossing by car. And earlier this month, he says he was crossing by foot when a Mexican immigration agent stopped only him and told him he couldn't cross that day. He says he believes it was racial discrimination because he watched others cross without a problem.
I 100% believe it. There's just no other way to identify that when I know others who are not African American that were able to come straight through. So I was easily identifiable as an American. I can now give this spiel. Our government says if you're from America, you can't come across.
The Consul General of Mexico in San Diego told KPBS that border agents have been doing random stops.
Also today, there are questions about why the Department of State Hospitals just released a sex offender who was staying at a North County motel despite deputies calling him dangerous. This afternoon, our Team 10 investigator Jennifer Kastner learned that Carrie J. Smith is on the move again.
Carrie J. Smith, who admitted to being a pedophile, is currently not on parole or conditional release. Monday afternoon, deputies tweeted that convicted sex offender Carrie J. Smith left San Diego County after he'd been staying at a motel around the 78 corridor, causing community concern.
We are in a pretty safe area here in North County, and now that we don't even know where he is.
Under Sheriff Mike Barnett said this Sunday night.
He'd like to be referred to while he was in the state mental hospital as Mr. RTK, which is rape, torture, kill. He was proud of that moniker that he bestowed upon himself.
It was last Tuesday when he said the Department of State Hospitals released Smith from a Coalingua psychiatric facility without any restrictions under Megan's Law, meaning he is not required to register as a sex offender. Deputies say he served his time and is free to go where he wants. The 59-year-old went to Orange, Corona, and Lake Elsinore before arriving in San Diego.
If he gets out, he does it again!
Sparking outrage in Los Angeles. In an effort to avoid any violence, deputies would not share his exact location, but offered reassurance that he was under constant monitoring.
That's just a taxpayer burden, so now we're taking care of this scum by watching him 24/7 at our expense.
The Orange County District Attorney's Office says he claims to have killed 3 boys and molested 200. Monday, their office said they're waiting for answers from the governor as to why the state released him from the hospital last week and why the Attorney General's office revoked his sex offender registration requirement in 2005. Also Monday, the Department of State Hospitals said it couldn't release any information because of patient privacy laws. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Traffic is flowing once again on the 5 South after a boat tipped over in the fast lane. Well, the sailboat was on a trailer. It toppled over around 2:30 this afternoon. This was near the 94 East exit. No injuries were reported. CHP had to shut down the southbound lanes of the 5 so tow trucks could get to the boat and the trailer and get it out of the way.
We are learning more about a crash that killed a San Diego fire rescue engineer over the weekend. The department posted about Rand Ferrara's death yesterday. Today, CHP said he had been riding on the back of a motorcycle Sunday when the driver crashed into a parked vehicle on Piping Rock Lane near Lakeside. Ferrara was taken to the trauma center where he died. The driver, who has not been identified, is in the hospital with severe injuries. Neither man was wearing a helmet at the time. CHP officers say that alcohol and/or drugs may have played part in this crash.
The first pitch will be thrown in just moments as the Padres host the Angels for an exhibition game at PETCO Park. The MLB announced teams could play up to 3 exhibition games before opening day later this week. The Padres decided to only play 2, one here, one at the home of the Angels, and fans, of course, are not allowed in the stadium. As parents, students, and teachers prepare to start the new year online, some North County families have developed a plan to help their children avoid a learning slump. Why they say it all depends on trusting one another.
Plus, the new effort to get grocery stores to offer special hours for people who don't want to wear a face covering.
This week, a record-breaking July. Pandemic numbers worsening. Is the country's infighting putting you at risk? With so much at stake, World News Tonight with David Muir is America's most watched newscast, and now the most watched program in America.